that's a good segue into my next question. Is that how'd you get into it to where you wanted to do it professionally? And how like TNZ got started, and maybe even your first payday when you first started actually doing it professionally.
Yeah, so my very first payday was, I think, just $5 at my neighbor friend's birthday party or something like that.
Hey,
Yeah,
paycheck's a paycheck.
that's right. That's how it started. And then I started doing, with these tricks I was learning, I started doing, I would hand write out flyers, and my dad got me business cards made. I was fortunate enough to have parents that were very encouraging, because
Hmm.
I literally knew other magicians whose parents disowned them because they said they wanted to do magic for a
That's too
living.
bad. That's
Yeah,
too bad.
and it's kind of for various reasons. Some reasons you would probably never guess. Some parents were ultra religious, and they didn't understand that magic was just sleight of hand and
Yes.
trickery as entertainment. And they thought it was the devil's work, kind of thing. And it's I know, and it's like we laugh about it. I laugh about it, but at the same time, it's really, I
It's
mean, that's a
voodoo.
really,
Do you
yeah.
still get people out there, man? This is some
Every
voodoo,
once in a while. It's rare. It's rare, but it does happen. And I've got all kinds of stories about it. But it's crazy because um I would I started doing those smaller things, and then my dad also being encouraging, he got business cards printed up, and then
Nice.
for Christmas for me.
Hmm.
And then he was working, and the next job he got was for a telephone, like a business phone communication company, like selling telephone systems or something for businesses. And
Hmm.
he was at work one day, and he heard, because you asked how TNZ started, how that whole
Yes.
business name started.
Yeah.
He was at work one day, and this was following the weekend where I performed at his company's Christmas, or not Christmas party, the company picnic, summer company picnic, or something. And or maybe it was sometime after that or whatever. It had to have been sometime after that. But they were talking about it. My dad and another coworker. Well, the insurance rep for the company, for the company's insurance, was in the room nearby, and he overheard my dad talking to this other person.
Hmm.
And the insurance rep came over to my dad and said, "Did I hear you say that your son's a magician?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that's interesting." He said, "My son's a magician too." And he said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah." So he started telling him, well, he's been practicing magic for a little while, and he's just getting ready to do his first paid gig. And so he asked how old he was, and turned out his son was only a couple of years, about a year and a half younger than I was. And so he asked what school he went to, and turned out we both went to West Middle School. I was in eighth grade, and his son was in seventh grade at
Okay.
West. And those were I went there the first 2 years that it became a middle school, when it stopped being a
Hmm.
high school. So
Hmm.
uh so they were like, "Oh, we should get our boys together," and I bet they'd hit it off. And so that's exactly what happened. The first time I went over to Todd's house, which he only lived a few minutes away from me, was the I always it's easy to remember that first time, because it was that night that Mike Tyson lost for the first time. It was his we went over there.
Oh, I
His
think
dad made
everybody
us.
remembers that night.
Yeah, everybody remembers that. As soon as I got there, the fight was starting, and he said, "Okay, boys, come in here. We're going to watch this fight before you guys start talking magic." So, yeah, so we watched the fight, and then we went to his room, and he showed me the magic tricks he had, and I told
Hmm.
him about the stuff I had, and we turned out we were both big Penn and Teller fans,
Hmm.
and Siegfried and Roy fans, and so we started talking. We hit it off. We became best friends instantly, and we started talking about putting together a duo act, and it took about a year. We spent like for several months. He would come with me to shows that I did, and I would go with him to shows that he did.
Hmm.
And and again, the stuff was advertised with putting business cards and handmade flyers on bulletin boards at the Rockford Public Library, which is how I got my first and longest running library client, Rockford Public Library. Still to this day,
Okay.
about 40 years late, almost 40 years later, I still perform for the
Nice.
Rockford Public Library every year. Yeah, and so
Very cool.
yeah, so it kind of snowballed into that until we put an act together that we decided to give the cheesy name, The Magical Adventures of T and a Z. His name was Todd Ripplinger, and I'm Zach Percell. So TNZ, it sounds like TNT. It sounds like dynamite, you know. So yeah, we put this act together, and that's what we started doing all over
Cool.
town, is and all over the area, Midwest, and everything.